Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make this tufted bench. I don't have a before picture, unfortunately. I lost it, but it basically looked like this. It's kind of just boring. It's like a braided wood chest. So I went with this fabric to put on top. Here are some buttons I'm going to be showing you. I bought 6 of these, and those buttons in the back I'm going to tell you a little bit more about. I went with those because I couldn't find a pegboard, so I put those on the bottom to secure my buttons in. And I'll tell you about that later. These are the needles that I got, and that's to get the string, the buttons stringing through the heavy matting that you put on. Here's a waxed string that's very secure and it's not going to break at all. Here is some batting to put underneath the design that you chose. All right, and here is the like the bedding. So first you need to unscrew the top, and you take your bedding, your cushion, and you draw a line and make sure it's lined up correctly with the top of your bench or chest, whatever you're doing. And I had to get 2 because they didn't sell big enough ones, so I'm just cutting them both out. And this, I went with a 2-inch. It's like very cushiony. So I put the batting over that and then my design over the batting and making sure that it's centered. This is probably the most longest part of doing this project, is figuring out where to put the buttons. You want to make sure you're evenly measuring from every side before you decide to put your buttons on. So I think I went with like 6 or 7 inches up and 6 or 7 inches from the bottom in. And I'm just making sure that all my buttons are placed correctly. So here are my buttons again, and the needle and the thread that I'll be using. So I'm threading the needle. So I'm threading the button, putting the button on the top of the needle, and then putting my needle on the bottom of the thread. And so now I'm just poking the needle through and making sure that my pretty button is on the top, making sure that it's all through. And this is usually where people have a pegboard on the bottom, and that's so they have like an even spacing between their buttons and it won't move or anything like that. But I really don't think you need it, in my opinion. And first of all, I didn't get it because the place that I went to get all these products, they didn't have it. And I honestly just didn't really feel like going to get one. But since I do have the bench on the bottom, I didn't think that I would actually need it. So that's where I got those cheap buttons that I got and I showed you before. And I'm going to, after I string in my nice buttons on the top, I put my ugly buttons on the bottom. And that's so the string doesn't go back through the top of the felt of the cushion that I got. So here's the needle on the one end of the string, and my buttons on the top of the string. And I'm just putting that through so I can get the whole string through the cushion. So here's my ugly buttons, and I'm putting them on the bottom. Sorry, it's kind of out of frame, but I'll have a better picture in just like 1 second. And I'm tying the string as tight as I can so it does have that tufted look on the front. And see, you can see the buttons on the bottom, and that'll prevent the string from going through the cushion and kind of ruining my design. So this is another great way to do this project. If you can't find a pegboard, or if you don't want to put in the extra money to buy that. So I'm just putting the cushion on top of my chest and making sure all the all the material fits and it's centered, and now I'm just stapling it on and cutting off the extra batting that I had. And I'm putting a bunch of staples in because I really don't want this to move or anything like that. And making sure it's nice and tight, and that making sure it's just nice and tight so the design doesn't get ruined. So I'm just cutting off all the extra stuff, and there's the finished. So here I am screwing the bench back on, and now I just thought that it looked kind of boring still, so I got this little pendant to put on the top, and I'm going here and I'm measuring for the middle of my bench. So I found the middle, and then I just mark it off with a marker. Here, I got this from Hobby Lobby. It's just literally a string of metal links. It's sort of like if you wanted to make like a jewelry, like a necklace. So I'm just putting that on, and I'm just going to string that over, making sure that's the middle again. And I got just these very little nails. I got them in like a bronze or a gold color, so you don't really notice the nails. And so for the pendant, I just put a bunch of nails in there so it wouldn't move. And it's at the end, it was very secure, and it's definitely not going to move or break. So that's directly after. I think it kind of adds like a little bit more to it. So here's the finished product. The next day in the daylight, you could see a little bit more of the design, and I'm gonna zoom in on that little pendant that I got. It's really pretty. And here's the top, and you can sort of see the tufted on here. In person you could see it more. It's just that the light, it kind of is hard to see because the fabric that I got is kind of like metallic. In person, it's like gold and purple, but in the light, you can't really see it as well. But you can see the tufted bench in person more than on here. So I really like this bench, how it came out, because it's very personalized. I've never seen anything like this at a store before, and I probably won't, which is cool. So I have a very like unique piece in my room. Thanks guys. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and hopefully you guys can make something cool for yourselves too.